3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I always take care of my pace. Could be divided into 24 minus 9. My experience is that's why. I got a story to tell, and I'm drowning in hell. Professor told me so. A princess on multiple makes me able to wear my clothes. The time goes and goes. By the numbers, reading the signs you never take figures. By the numbers, reading the signs you never take figures. Are you happy? Are you young? Are you handsome?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going to be jumping into our third place match right here, right now. I must apologize. After that last series, my throat took a beating. So it's a little bit sketchy, a little bit scratchy, so it's all good. But anyway, we are going to be jumping into SL NeOAnGeL versus EG Stephano here to find out who goes away with a cool 8K for third place. Fourth place will go home with nothing. Nothing. So that's kind of brutal. A lot of money's on Stephano here to take this. NeOaNGeL doesn't quite have the same tournament experience as people like Stephano. But anyway, we are going to jump on in. J'adore les village people. Well, okay then. Thank you, Stephano, for that very, very interesting introduction here to this. Stephano said before this game he deserved to be punished. So there's something weird about Stephano. I'm not quite sure what's wrong with him. But anyway, at any rate, we do have EG Stephano going to be spawning in the north here as our pink Protoss. And spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner, someone who has made an extremely impressive run throughout this entire tournament, and he goes by the name of Sparta Legion's NeOaNGeL. So I think for people like him in this tournament, as well as people like Panda Tank, some very, very impressive play coming out and accrediting them with very, very respectable finishes in the top 8. Or in NeOaNGeL's case, in the top 4, amongst people like Stephano, Mana, and 4GG. A player that a lot of people had not known about previously until this tournament. But for me, NeOaNGeL, I've cast him a lot in weekly tournaments. So I know NeOaNGeL pretty darn well. The last time I actually cast him, though, was a little bit ago. But I've still cast him quite a lot. And he was quite happy to see me casting as well his games. So for now, we will have NeOaNGeL. Let's see what he's going to get up to. He's already going for a gateway and gas in base against the Zerg. So that's already a standard deviation that is not as completely conventional as previous builds. This is very Adele Scott-esque. And NeOaNGeL being a French Protoss, I wouldn't be surprised if he does something similar to what Adele Scott does. Now, what I mean by that is going for an in-base gateway with Cybernetics Core may even see an opponent's quick expansion and then just go for the gateway into Nexus. Ooh, actually letting that get down. Not the best play there by NeOaNGeL. But from that point on, you see a lot of Protosses in the shoes of people like Adele Scott just going for a 5-gate aggression off 2 base. And it's really weird to watch because it puts on a lot of pressure and it can do a lot of damage. But ultimately, you see it come and you end up seeing the Protoss banking like ridiculous amounts of minerals and gas to the point where it just doesn't look right, but they're still doing damage. It's really, really weird to watch. But Adele Scott's been able to pull it off quite a few times. Not only that, but he even actually pulled it off against EG Stephano during the France Nationals, in which Stephano just looked a bit flustered. Stephano ended up winning the series, mind you, but he still looked kind of flustered against what Adele Scott was exhibiting. So, for now, we're going to see how Stephano wants to play this out. No doubt he's the favorite here. And even if NeOaNGeL does walk away with nothing in a 4th place, it's still extremely, extremely respectable to have this 4th place finish under your belt here with the lineup of players that were participating. People like, Sortov and Squirtle and all these other bigger names, Dimaga and Night End, all these guys that didn't make it to the top 4 have been surpassed here by NeOaNGeL. So, really impressive. So for now, we have Warp Gate in the way. Zerglings run in, have a look around, see what they want to see. Sentries on the way as well. We had a Queen finish there for just a second. And just getting those lava injects going as quickly as you possibly can do. Zerglings for now, though, just running around in circles, having a little bit of a look, see what they can find. Not too much at this point, though. All they saw really was, well, did he see that expansion? Yes, okay, he did. So it was the Overlord poking him after the Zerglings had died that was able to spot that for him. And right now, Stephano's playing this out accordingly, to be honest with you. He's not overextending and going for a third base ridiculously quickly, as his opponent is obviously going to have quicker tech to warp gate than he would have normally had if he'd have gone for an expansion off the back of a forge or just an expansion first in general. And meanwhile, you know, getting the spine crawler as well just keeps him warded against any kind of little pokes that would come along here from this initial Stalker and Zealot. Maybe even the Sentry if it wanted to get really overzealous and move out. But for now, NeOAnGeL just completing his wall off, getting everything going on. Second evolution chamber actually going down extremely rapidly here for Stephano, because so this looks to me like some kind of Ling Infestor based play in the mid game. As he does start his carapace pretty quickly, just to make sure his Zerglings are able to survive just a little bit against Zealots. And NeOAnGeL from this point on is going to make himself a robotics facility. Now, what is he going to crank out from that is the big question. NeOAnGeL's checking to see if his opponent's keeping an eye on his third base, and he is indeed, but he didn't spot that just then. And we have all the gases being taken for Stephano, along with the melee upgrades, so it's still, to me, looking like quick 2-base Infestor. And then he'll use that infestation pit to secure himself the third base, unless, of course, he just kills his opponent with speedlings, but that doesn't seem very likely either right now, so... Okay, so how are we going to transition? NeOAnGeL actually goes for his third, quicker than Stephano. But the Zerglings are going to come and try and punish. I'm not sure they will be able to, though, to be honest. Actually, now that I look at the position he's found himself in, maybe they will. How is he... Oh my god. Okay, right, well... NeOAnGeL reacted a little bit slower to that than I would have considered. And especially since he had that wall going up, there was really no reason for his army to be all the way back here. So he could have had it at his nexus here to try and keep that going. And he forced another cancel. He forced two I can't even get that sentence out anymore. Two cancels here with his Zerglings. And the Zerglings are actually baiting out a ton of force fields, as well as not being kind of sealed off by anything. Nice Zealot warp in there, though, keeping his opponent out and at bay. And right now, Zergling's still running around trying to find a little bit of a hole, but they won't do it against NeOAnGeL. He's playing this really well. And for now, 3 base, well, 2.5 base against 2.5 base. And there we go, there's finally the infestation pit on the way here for Stephano. It was just a little bit delayed from what I was talking about, because he had a bit more of a delayed layer in comparison to what I was considering to be the norm on this 2-base play. This is something that players like Bly like to do quite a lot. Go on 2-base and use an infestation pit to secure a third base against Protoss predominantly, and then from that point on, just have, you know, an abundance of gas to make a very, very strong army that the Protoss opponent can't necessarily push into at any given point in time whenever they want. Now, meanwhile, NeOAnGeL is going to be rocketing up to a second Robo facility, as well as that Robo Bay on the way. Plus 2/2s going down here for NeOAnGeL as well. Just finishing wall-offs where he can. And I'm wondering how he intends to get the wall-off going down this angle as well, because right now that's pretty darn vulnerable. All these Zerglings seem to be poisoning themselves in a position that could potentially exploit that. Right now, 10 more drones on the way here for Stephano. So they're going to have a little bit of a look around what they can see. Double Colossus production is going to start pretty quickly here for NeOAnGeL, though. And right now, there's actually no Spire on the way for Stephano. He's got his Roach Warren on the way, which is a little bit later than I was expecting. You can transition onto the late game with Ling Infestor. But he wants to keep those roaches in place there. And there we go. There's the Spire now on the way, finally. As he does scout the Robo Bay, which is always extremely useful. And Pathogen Glance finishes up for those Infestors. So, Stephano's just transitioning onto his very, very standard late game. Or at least mid to late game. And meanwhile, NeOAnGeL is also transitioning onto a pretty standard mid to late game here for Protoss as well. Just cranking out those double Colossi. making sure that he can keep himself in the know. And once he gets, say, 4 or 5 Colossi, he can move out and start trying to put the pressure on against the Zerg. So it's actually funny because in the entire time I've been casting this... What is he doing? Oh, okay. In the entire time we've been casting this tournament, I've not really seen too much Infested Broodlord huge compositions in PvZ. No, either nobody gets allowed to get to that point, or one of the just dies before that, or the Protoss just dies to some kind of earlier Zerg aggression. It's been a bit of a strange tournament in that regard. But for now, Colossi production finishes up and good to go. He's going to move out into the middle of the map. The Zergling's actually going to run back. I wouldn't have even minded if he'd have left the Zerglings back here. But then again, they wouldn't have been able to break through that wall as an extra pylon is added on additionally to that wall. And, well, he's getting his Corruptors out. Does he have Blink? No. Okay, so why does he not have Blink? Well, he's going to go for it. Right now he has 4 Colossi out. This army's a little bit small, got to admit, but it still packs a lot of punch. There's a ton of Stalkers actually moving across the map here with this. He can't necessarily warp in too close because right now he doesn't have a forward pylon set up just yet. He needs to set one up with this probe that's coming along with the small contingent of forces on the way. There we go, there's the pylon. Has been spotted though. And he actually gets the kill on the 4th base. NeOAnGeL's hitting a pretty nice timing here, but there's going to be a lot of Corruptors out pretty soon. Stephano should be able to hold on to this. If NeOAnGeL, unless NeOAnGeL can actually breach this location at the 3rd even. Stephano knows there's a little bit of trouble up yonder. Going back to my old Yorkshire. As for now, we will have NeOAnGeL still just warping in as many Stalkers as he can do. Nice Fungals, locking a lot of that down. If he can chain the Fungals on those sentries, that'll be extremely pivotal, as he does allow a few of them to pop there. Some of them do move back, though, so that was technically nice micro by NeOAnGeL, keeping 1 or 2 of them alive. And Stephano, for now, will hold on to his 3rd, but he is being limited here. NeOAnGeL is actually transitioning quite nicely onto a 4th base as well as Stargate against Stephano. And he's also getting that Twilight Council, which technically should have been up a little bit earlier. So it's just basically so he could have started his like +2 weapons upgrades, etc. Because right now he's only on +1, which is not generally the situation you want to be in as a Protoss right here, right now at the 15-minute mark in PvZ. So for now, we have the Gravatic Drive on the way here for NeOAnGeL. I always get confused slightly between the symbols of the Gravatic Drive and the Gravatic Boosters. But it's the Gravatic Drive, so this is the big one. So anyway, so Mr. EG's Stephano now having a little bit of a look around with his army, trying to grab himself another 4th base up to the top left-hand corner with the Ghost Hatchery, finally turning into a small puddle of pink. And other than that, Stephano here, just looking for a little bit of an avenue of attack to actually put on some pressure. But Zealots actually somehow found their way in here. Was it a Warp Prism? Anyway, the point is now he's actually breached this location entirely. Nice fungal growth goes down, but he actually picks up a few Infestors for his troubles. These Colossi, I mean, the Corruptors are being zoned out really, really nicely by the Stalkers, but now they actually find a way into this location. NeOAnGeL needs to bring down these Corruptors, otherwise all his Colossi are going to die pretty darn quickly. But even if they do, NeOAnGeL is 150 supply up to 115. Stephano might just die right now. And even if he doesn't die, he still doesn't have that amazing an economy to go up against NeOAnGeL once NeOAnGEL establishes his 4th base. What is going on? NeOAnGeL is managing to crush through Stephano here in game 1. And Stephano has nothing he can do about it. NeOAnGeL right now is powering it out, killing bases left and right. And this is just echoes of Mana Stephano game number 1. His bases have just been shut down. There you go. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Bravo, as Stephano would say. So that is going to do it for game number 1 here. As NeOAnGeL is 1 game away, 1 win away from taking 8,000 in prize pool. So we'll be back in just a little sec, guys, with game number 2 between Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL and EG Stephano. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, one and all, as we go on to game number 2 here between Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL and EG Stephano. Hold me 1 second whilst I get that done. There we go. So Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL here, currently 1 game up after... I am not sure what is going on. Yeah, I don't have a clue. So, something, Dun champion. So we have Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL spawning here as our yellow Protoss once again. Currently 1 game up against this fellow, Mr. EG Stephano, spawning as our pink Zerg. So, sans sarcasm, I guess he said something about NeOAnGeL being a champion, and then Stephano's like, it's French, I don't know it. Anyway, so Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL, again, 1 win away from securing himself 8,000 here in prize pool, which is just insane. What are they saying? So, yeah, for now, we have NeOAnGeL going to be walling off. I mean, NeOAnGel's not a bad player in any way, shape, or form. People, coming in here saying that, are assuming that NeOAnGel's just some kind of no-name guy that's making his way through things. NeOAnGel's been so active on the scene for the longest time, and as such, he's just been really impressing me for quite a while, especially in the weekly cups. Never really had his moment to shine, but I mean, that game against Stephano in his 3rd place match right here, right now, is pretty much his place to shine, gotta say. So he goes Nexus first. Daybreak is our map for game number 2. I'm hoping NeOAnGeL actually just sticks to his plan. I hope he just sticks to what he did in game number 1, to be honest with you, and tries to go for that, because it seems to have quite a lot of success here against Stephano, who was acclaimed to be his ZVP is and always will be for a long time legendary. So going up against NeOAnGeL here, he has the tough wall to climb in the 2 wins that he requires here to grab himself the prize pool. Stephano for now, having a little bit of a look around, sees Forge, sees Gateway, sees Nexus. Pat Cannon's going to go down shortly after. And for now, interesting 4 Zerglings on the way here. Stephano's not normally accustomed to making 4 Zerglings. He's normally just poking out with a 2 and trying to get some scouting off. But potentially he sees a little bit of an opportunity to poke in here. Now, NeOAnGeL, meanwhile, is going to keep a probe here, just so he can... Well, where's it going? He needs to throw down a gateway to make sure that this is sealed off. This probe needs to stick around. I was going to say, if it was going to go back to the second Nexus, then that would have been terrible. Where's it going? Where's it going? Where's the probe? Well, that was kind of silly. Okay, so Zerglings got in where they shouldn't have got in, and for now they're going to start nibbling away at this. They could even kill a few probes if they want to. So this shouldn't have happened. This probe from NeOAnGeL was the lazy probe, and as such he decided not to throw down the full wall off before this cannon finished up. And right now we're going to have that 7-8 core warping in eventually to try and keep him going. 1 Zealot comes out, trying to deal with that. He's going to lose his 2nd probe for his troubles, though. These 4 Zerglings have already paid for themselves very, very well by just getting 2 probe kills. And the Zergling's just going to keep running around in circles. He's going to get a 3rd probe kill. Oh my god. Well, yep. Nicely done. He might even get a 4th. Please don't get a 4th. I'm not... Okay, so that sentence is not me rooting against Stephano. I just don't feel that this Zergling pressure should ever really get this many probes. In a I would say, perfect world, in inverted commas, where both players are microing properly, perfectly even. So NeOAnGeL losing more than he should have. He's throwing a pylon down in a very clever spot just to make sure that the Zerglings can't keep running around in the back of the mineral line back around here if they so desire. And for now, the Zealot's not doing too bad a job dancing around with this. But the problem for NeOAnGeL is that, again, he lost 3 workers. Is he going to reveal the Robo tech? The Zerglings are going to try and get out. And, wow, that was... Okay, so they get out with only 1 kill. And he doesn't reveal the Robo tech, which is actually really, really nice here for him. But this Overlord will no doubt shark him for a second and then go back to its position of safety. Whilst Zerglings and Overlords... Well, actually, this Overlord's keeping an eye on the 3rd. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are going to run home. And Stephano, for now, grabs his 3rd, gets this up and running, has plenty of drones out across it. 47 drones right now to the 37 probes. And with Roach War and Evolution Chamber on the way, Millennium EG Stephano, jeez. Every time I see the M in front of his name, I just... EG Stephano is just keeping himself well awarded against any kind of aggression that he will be doing in terms of a 4-gate pressure. But for now, Stephano comes in, has a little bit of a look around. He hasn't seen any +1 weapons being researched just yet, so that could give him the tip-off that Stephano is not going for some kind of really, really early pressure with this. I'm under the impression that NeOAnGeL's just going to go for a quick third. Oh, he already is doing. Okay, then, well, so yeah, he's going for his quick third. And sticking to his plan from game 1, and I like this from NeOAnGeL. He's in a good spot. 59 drones right now to the 43 probes. Stephano's one of those players that, for the longest I had so much respect for. I watched his stream religiously, and ultimately, I think the way in which he controls the game is, I describe it in no other way other than majestic. The way in which he controls all his control groups, as well as his ralliers across the map. But now, today, he's not looking as strong as previously. This is not, well, I mean, going up against Mana, those games were properly heated. So that was a bit tough. But NeOAnGeL here is actually doing a really good job. Nice force fields there. Keeping Stephano on his toes. And sentries will reposition themselves to keep Stephano back for now. So a good defense. And he also has really good defensive parameters set up at his natural as well. Meanwhile, Stephano grabbing that 4th base. Now, the big thing is here, Stephano does not want to lose this. If Stephano loses this against, say, the two Robo... Whoa, wait, what? What? That's a really early Stargate. I don't mean some kind of 2-base Stargate. I mean that's a really early 3-base Stargate. So, is he really going to be racing that quickly to Mothership? The infestation pit isn't even done yet. Well, he's apparently. So this is going to be a little bit of an interesting deviation that I haven't necessarily seen too much of. People are probably saying right now, well, yeah, it's just a Stargate on 3 bases. It happens all the time. Not at this point in the game. Not this early. Not at the same time as a Robo Bay, and just the second forge going down. Oh wow, this is another echo of Panda Tank here with double upgrades going down. So he does have the Stargate up and running. Is he going to throw down the Fleet Beacon? He has the money for it. He has 300, 200. And there we go. There's the Fleet Beacon on the way. NeOAnGeL is rocketing up to a composition that's designed to deal with the Protoss eventual late game composition. Is he not going to scout fully? He needs... Wait. Where did the... Oh, he started a Fleet Beacon there, but then realized that there was an Overseer coming in, so stopped making it there and started it over here. And right now, Stephano still doesn't know anything about the Stargate or the Fleet Beacon. So this is really quite interesting here. Stephano might get caught way off guard by how quickly this Mothership's going to come out. And because of the amount of Colossi that he can, in theory, Chrono Boost out, if he continues to Chrono Boost on the Robo facility, he might end up unlocking... Oh, there we go. But he's actually now going to get in here and see the Stargate, see the Fleet Beacon as well. So Stephano, in terms of what he needs to do here right now, he might think that NeOAnGeL is like just miles ahead of what he anticipated he would be in terms of an economic position. Of course, Stephano is a very good reader of the game, so he will assume that that's not as apt. And I think he even cancelled a few spines there just because he realizes, well, this guy is racing straight up to Mothership even. So there's almost no way he's actually going to push out before the Mothership ends up getting done and dusted. But he does have his 4th base now up and running. Stephano, meanwhile, no 5th base just yet, so 4-base Protoss versus 4-base Zerg. If Protoss is able to close the gap in terms of supply, he's going to be in a good spot. Right now, Stephano, once again, going for his 2nd Spire, along with the Hive. But this time, it looks a little bit more neat in comparison to what we saw it from Mana. Again, this is technically and feasibly, yes, exactly what we saw. However, the Hive was just a little bit later than the 2nd Spire going down. So Stephano's ironing out the edges of how we saw him play against Mana when he was going for that double Spire play. I think it was on this map, actually. I can't remember 100%. But hey, Stephano, what are you up to? He separated his entire forces in 2 lumps here. And I think he's just going to push in at this army from both sides. Oh my, look at the mini-map. This could actually be an end up being a massacre. Infestors and Zerglings just closing in a massive surround on this huge Protoss army as well. And that was just brutality. Stephano with such a well-executed engagement against NeOAnGeL there. Kills off the Colossi, kills off every single living thing, or mechanical thing, at this watchtower. And now from that point on can punish this Nexus very, very quickly. Meanwhile, Warp Prism harassment on the way. Don't think it's going to do too much though here, as Stephano will know exactly when that's coming along. He also shut down one of his opponent's Warp Prisms as well, right on the edge of NeOAnGeL's natural. So for now, trying to find an opening. Won't find it though. Sees the... Did he see the... Yeah, okay, so he saw the Hive and Greater Spire, but he does have a Mothership now. The only problem for him is he doesn't really have the base available to complement a Mothership just yet. He needs to keep mining, obviously. He also needs to keep making units. Wow, who would have guessed? But the point is that he lost so much of the base that was there to eventually complement this Mothership that now he needs to rebuild it so much. And it's going to be a little bit difficult too, especially with Stephano now maxing out very suddenly, as well as gaining a massive, massive bank. So Stephano's going to start looking to go for trades here very soon, even before Greater Spire's finished up if he wants to, unless he just waits for that with his Corruptors and then finds a way to actually try and go for that. Nice snipe out of that Warp Prism. NeOAnGeL shouldn't really be moving out to the middle of the map because that's going to happen, and he's forced to blink back for now. The Mothership, though, there for safety. One Stalker gets left behind. Poor guy. And right now, the Corruptor's going to try and move into position. He does have energy for a Vortex, so he could actually land it on this army that's going to be quite clumped up here. But the Corruptors are coming in from both sides. He lands the Vortex. It's not going to be enough. Mothership will end up going down extremely fast here, as there's not enough Stalkers or Colossi to really help this out. But everything just ran into the Vortex. Okay, the one Archon. Go, Archon! Go! Well, I'm not sure he wants to go into all of that. Oh no, there's a second Archon, but he gets minced up completely. As right now, Stephano's still putting on a ton of pressure at this 3rd location. 4th is going up to the north for NeOAnGeL, but I don't think it's really going to be enough here at this point, as Stephano just keeps crippling his opponent's army over and over and over with really well-executed engagements, I want to say. Just because the pivotal moments in each engagement are coming in from both sides. Like this engagement down here, for example, he was swinging in from both sides with the ground army, so the force fields weren't enough to actually deal with it. This engagement, he was swinging in from both sides with the Corruptors, so even if the Vortex wanted to go down on the Corruptors, he would have always had to lose the Mothership either way, because he would have never caught all the Corruptors. And killing the Mothership off there in that situation is really, really the big pivotal thing that you actually need to do just to limit your opponent. Right now, NeOAnGeL still going for some harassment, trying to kill off these bases. And there's still Warp Prisms on the field that NeOAnGeL is trying to make work. Warp Prism 1 and Warp Prism 2. So, if he can get in, but I don't think he's going to be able to. He's warping in right now, but there's units flooding back here to deal with it. And also Stephano deciding he's comfortable enough to take the 6th and 7th base, whilst Zealot harassment comes along and does nothing. So Stephano's still in a really, really good spot here in the 3rd place series to grab themselves that cool 8,000. So for now, Mothership still finishing up here in just a second. NeOAnGeL is not necessarily down and out, like out of the entire game. Does he have Storm? Yeah, he does. Okay. So... but, I mean, these Broodlords are going to be really hard to contest. It's going to be really, really difficult. The Mothership's out, but he needs to delay until he has at least 100 energy to go for the engagement. But I don't think he's going to actually find a way to. Oh, well, that sucks for NeOAnGeL. That was a really nice fungal growth there, shutting down so many of those High Templars that had the energy for not only the feedbacks, but also the storms. Another storm goes down, but not really too useful against roaches, as Broodlings decide to kill off everything in that location as well. Right now, a few Zealots being warped in here to try and put on some harassment, and he will clean up the rest of the Zerglings that were at this location. But NeOAnGeL is actually going to stack up the energy for that Vortex pretty soon. It's still only 180 some supply to 157, but the problem is that Stephano has just so much bank here to really keep going with this. Nice blink forwards, killing off one Broodlord, scratching another, and Stephano right now is... He still feels comfortable, let's face it. Even if he lost these bases, I don't think he'd be too perturbed by the idea because of the way in which his income is sort of outweighing NeOaNGeL's right now. So NeOaNGeL, still, he's lost kind of a few workers, 44 in total here. 55 to 89 workers so far. But a lot of them are just being transferred from other locations. NeOaNGeL still has an alright army. 3-2-1 upgrades. In comparison to 2-2, and I wonder what the range upgrades are on the ground army. But anyway, well, one more prism with 3 High Templars in it. Drop the storms, drop the storms, drop the storms. What's going on? Oh, well, no, you just died. Infested Terran's actually just going to tear apart the rest of this location, bulldoze all of these cannons pretty darn quickly. And EG Stephano, for now, he's still getting the 3-3. He's getting ranged weapons +2. So Stephano's finding himself a lot of foothold on this game, as well as shutting down everything that his opponent can do. He doesn't necessarily want to go for a straight-up engagement. I'm assuming it's just because of the amount of energy stored up on that mothership. And he's just mobbing in more Broodlords. Right now, 12 Broodlords are going to be out very soon, along with 9 Infestors +5, adding up to a total of 14. And a few Changelings coming out here just to make sure his Overseers don't have energy, so that they can be feedbacked by the High Templars. Because if you feedback the Overseers and then you can't see any of your opponent's army, that's kind of a bad situation to be in as a Zerg. So 195 supply right now. Whoa, 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 where are they going? Corruptors don't want to die off here. They're their one linchpin of killing off that mothership. And right now, he actually will push in here. The Corruptor's going to kill off that mothership pretty quickly if they're not careful. And he does actually catch a few of the Corruptors with it, but the mothership ends up falling. Right now, all he has really left over to his name is a few Archons and Stalkers. Trying to blink forwards here, trying to bring down some of those Broodlords where they can. Drops the Storm on a lot of that, but there you go. GG, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2. EG Stephano ties up the series. So bringing himself back in against the Protoss once again. So big thank you guys for joining me here for the ESWC stream for Starcraft 2. My name is Kyle Aris, the official caster of ESL TV. And we'll be back with game number 3 in just a second. All right, guys, welcome back. One and all, game number 3 on the way between NeOaNGeL and EG Stephano, as they're tied 1-1 right now. Stephano in chat decided to tell me that he likes my beard. I don't get Stephano sometimes. Like, I know technically he's being sarcastic because that's Stephano, but still, it's kind of a weird, nice compliment because he's just weird in general. So anyway. So going on to game number 3 now, as we have EG Stephano spawning up in the top left-hand corner here as our pink Zerg, and spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here as our yellow Protoss we have Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL. So, still the last PVZ of the day here. And we'll see as to whether or not NeOaNGeL can round out the series and take himself a good spot. So apparently people tweeted me saying that it was best of 5. No, it is indeed best of 3. I'm also pretty sure that the final is best of 3 as well. Team Liquipedia has it wrong. I have it on good authority from the admins that it's best of 3, not only for the third place match, but also for the final. So, yeah. So for now, NeOaNGeL here. Just getting everything up and running, good and going. And meanwhile, we have Stephano getting his spawning pool down. That looks a little bit earlier, right? What's going on? He was at 13 supply just then. Was that? Yeah, that was a little bit of an earlier spawning pool. It looks like an 11 or 12. I didn't get it. I didn't get the full timing on it there. But that was a little bit earlier. His opponent for now is going gateway in base, so NeOaNGeL's not really playing to some kind of, again, Forge Fast Expand standard. And from here on, what did he do last gateway in base? I can't quite remember. Oh, but he's going to go for Nexus after that. Now, Zerglings could come out here, and, okay, what's going to happen is that Zerglings could potentially come out. 6 Zerglings in total. They're going to start dancing around this Nexus to the point where just a Zealot oftentimes will not cut it against that. So there could be the potential that 6 Zerglings in total force a cancellation on here before any Stalker is out to really deal with it, because the cybernetic score is not even started just yet. There we go. The Zerglings are going to plow across the field right now, and he needs to start a Zealot. But even if he does start a Zealot, the Zerglings are still going to dance around that Zealot and that Nexus to the point where they should be able to nibble away at it for quite a prolonged period of time. So, Stephano's still moving across the map here. More pylons are going to go down on the low ground. Now, does Stephano want to go for pylons, or does he want to go for the Nexus? Is he just going to run into the natural? Main even? Yeah, okay, so he's going to go for the pylons first. Forces a cancellation on one pylon, gets a free pylon here. Doesn't want to start dancing around the Nexus because he assumes that, you know, his opponent will have something to deal with that. And right now sees exactly what's going on with the probes and the Zealot that come back to try and deal with all of this pressure. And off the back of this, we have 2 bases already on the way for Stephano pretty quickly. He's trying to kill off some of the probes where he can, but nice micro. Whoa, really nice micro actually there by NeOaNGeL. Secures himself 3 probes pretty fast. Making sure that none of them died just yet. Stephano's on the hunt. He wants that probe. He wants that probe right there. That probe. Oh no, he's going to die! Oh, poor guy. Well, Stephano got him. The hunt had begun, and Stephano caught his prey. As for now, so many pylon cancels. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter massive amounts here. It's certainly annoying, and certainly something that ends up, you know, potentially supply blocking NeOaNGeL in the process. But ultimately, because of the timing on his gateway, because of the timing on his Nexus, etc., he's going to be in a pretty similar spot to where he was previously. So, 30 drones out right now to the 26 probes. Double probe production constantly here for our Rotus buddy over here in the form of NeOaNGeL. And I'm under the impression that right now, technically, we're ahead of schedule. So, but I'm also told that the final might just always be at 5 PM because of how things are scheduled in the event hall. So what time is it right now? I can't quite see. 2:30. So we could have a bit of a long break in between the third match and the final. I'll get the update for that and throw it up on the overlay as soon as this game is finished. And again, a big thanks, guys, for joining. I understand that there could be some lagging issues for Daily Motion, but unfortunately, that's just the Daily Motion servers. There's not a whole lot we can do about that. So anyway, for now, Stephano getting his third queen out, pushing across the map here with just a few more Zerglings once again, and should be anticipating his opponent's third going down now, or at least even seeing it, so he does. Bringing that Overlord back to a safe spot. Yeah, for now we have the Roach Warren as well as the Lair going down here for NeOaNGeL. No, for Stephano. Anyway. Meanwhile, Forge is on the way here for NeOaNGeL. Where is it? It's somewhere. There it is. I would like to see NeOaNGeL go into his double Forge play again. I think Game 2 for NeOAnGeL was just a really bad series of events for him. Having his army caught out in the middle of the map as it was, after Stephano had been able to scout out its location with a single Zergling and then push in from both sides, was so brutal for him. Had he had his army elsewhere, it would have probably survived. It would have had a consistent amount of force fields to keep himself in that defensive position. And then from there on, he would have had a great, great base to complement his mothership once it had actually come out. But alas, he did not. And NeOAnGeL paid the price in Game 2. Stephano's on the warpath right now. He doesn't want to go home empty-handed at all. Stephano here just breaking down his rocks, getting out a ton more Zerglings as well as roaches and even drones. So he's going to be rocketing up once again to around the 60-some drone mark here. Oh no, in fact, just the 58 drone mark. And the roaches actually take a long time to kill these rocks. Damn it, this is taking a while, guys. I don't know what to tell you. This is like slow motion. Wait. Let's get some effects here on the roaches killing these rocks. There's nothing else going on right now, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so that was pretty epic in itself. As for now, we have +1 weapons going down for NeOAnGeL, and just walling himself off, keeping himself in the know with the observers. 4th base is on the way for Stephano, and he is marching with his roaches across the map. Don't think they're going to be able to do too much, though. There's a lot of force fields here. And those force fields were really good in terms of catching some of those Zerglings. Has to be careful with these roaches, though. Now powering across. Where are the sentries going? Well, that sucks. I said that in the last game as well. But that was like just a misclick, basically, by NeOAnGeL. And having those 2 sentries die off is actually huge because they had full energy. So that was a present that Stephano was happy to oblige. And for now, we have RoboBait as well as Templar Archives going down for NeOAnGeL, so he is going just gun-ho with the tech, making sure he has all the techs in order to try and deal with Stephano here. I won't be surprised if he threw down a starport pretty quickly. I'm not even joking. Like, that is something that I would foresee from him. But it looks as if he wants to go for some kind of gateway-based Colossi High Templar move, maybe without them. And did I just see... Wait, there's a Hydra... Yeah, that was weird. Because the interesting thing is I saw this Hydralisk thing to go down before, but I just didn't acknowledge it. Or I didn't say it, at least on the cast. And now that I just saw the Hydralisks in production, I'm like, oh yeah, he actually is going to go Hydras in this matchup. So... Again, this is not something that's common nowadays, so I'm curious to see how this is going to work out for him. If he's overproducing Hydralisks and Storm gets finished and he's able to land a few, then I feel sorry for the Hydras. The Hydras are just going to get minced. Like, you can have Hydralisk hot dogs made from them. They're going to be kind of toasty, but still, after being fried by an electrical storm, it's... why is he making Hydralisks? What is he up to? Anyway, so Stephano for now, still pushing in with a few roaches here and there, trying to find some damage where he can. He might actually pick off a High Templar, and he does get one for a few roaches. That's quite a nice trade. Yeah, I think he got a cannon there as well for those ones. And there we go, there's the Stargate on the way, but it was only started after the 4th base, so he can be forgiven for the speed at which he's going to be taking that in comparison to game number 2. And meanwhile, the Hydralisks have suddenly decided, let's go, guys, let's go. And are now marching across the map. What? Well, actually, you know what? Because there's no Colossi out, and because he just killed off like one of the High Templars that was so useful in terms of holding this, I just think these Hydralisks are going to do quite a bit of damage at this 4th location. NeOAnGeL's kind of in trouble. Unless the Stalkers can blink back really, really well here against those Hydras. Hydras do have +1/1, and with +2/2 on the way, they could actually deal with these pretty easily. Wait a minute. Maybe there's too many Stalkers. He's just going to focus down the Nexus, though. And he gets the kill. But I'm still kind of concerned. I mean, there's a lot of roaches now on the way. He drops the storms on the roaches here as... Oh, dear. Well, he's actually, just going to kill off the rest of that. Stephano's still up in terms of supply, though. 155 right now to the 119 of our Protoss friend here. And NeOaNGeL has actually, in my opinion, responded well to that aggression by going for his own 4th base elsewhere whilst all of that was occurring. So if perchance NeOaNGeL now wants to say take a 4th base as well, that would be pretty cool. Splat, splat. NeOaNGeL for now, with +3 weapons on the way, and quite a lot of Stalkers out and about. If he just realizes that his opponent is still continuing, how is this Warp Prism still alive? If he just, okay, there we go. He now knows it's there. If he just goes into Colossi production, then he could be in a really, really good spot here. He's gone just for Warp Prism speed as well, again, just with that Robo Bay, and hasn't started any Colossi production. And he needs that against this army. The one bane of Zerg, when they were going for just Roach Hydra, was Colossi. They roasted them up so amazingly quickly. And if Stephano can go for that, then he'll be in an amazing spot. Sorry, if NeOaNGeL can go for that, he'll be in an amazing spot. Again, my brain's melting today. So NeOaNGeL's still looking to threaten here at this 4th location. He's establishing his bases behind this. NeOaNGeL's playing this out quite well as long as he can blink back. But the High Templars actually get caught off guard there. A few Storms do go down for their troubles, though. But there's too many units here. He needs to blink back. He needs to get out of there. But I don't think he really can too effectively after losing a lot of those Stalkers. But he hasn't actually lost as much as I was thinking. But then again, Stephano has mined more than him. The mining right now is even. And he now starts Colossi production. But there is a hive already on the way here. NeOaNGeL's in a bit of trouble. Because right now our Zerg friend is maxed out on Roach Hydra. With Tunneling Claws on the way and +1 melee weapons to try and transition out of this mid-game trap that he sort of found himself in with the Roaches and Hydras. I say it's a trap because sometimes it can be so easy to just get stuck in it. And then have the Colossi come out and just, again, tear you to shreds. Stephano here, for now. The first Colossi is out. It doesn't have range, though. And the Mothership's out as well. So it doesn't have any Overseers here. So as long as he can consolidate all his forces together, then this army can no longer engage until Overseers come along. So right now, no, he can't see any of this. Oh, but actually, now that I think about it, yeah, Hydralisks are pretty good against the Mothership. What was I talking about? He's hunting it down. He actually might bring it down. Oh, it just goes down there. The Colossus, in turn, was in the bad spot as well. What was I thinking? I was thinking, well, yeah, the Mothership can't be hit. Oh, wait, there's a ton of Hydralisks there. I'm just not used to anymore to actually having Hydralisks in this matchup. As for now, still 17 Hydras on the way. Stephano's stretching his opponent so thinly across all of these bases. Managed to kill off his opponent's 4th. I want to call it a 4th, even though this one was technically the 4th. But he's killing off plenty of this infrastructure. And we have 1,900 minerals income right now to force Stephano, currently overpowering NeOaNGeL. And he's going to shut down the rest of what we're seeing here eventually. He's killed off 13 workers in total, so it's 70 workers to 70, but the Greater Spire is now on the way. So NeOaNGeL somehow needs to get himself back into the economical state to deal with the transitions that are going to be coming out from Stephano. He needs to make sure he's not losing all of these Stalkers all the time. He needs to just sacrifice this base because this is too much to deal with. Stephano right now is just making a ton of Roaches and Hydralisks and trying to power out against our Protoss friend here that somehow is finding it very, very difficult to deal with all of this Hydra Roach aggression. I mean, you've got to remember that he didn't even have Corruptors with this. The previous metagame, oh, he's just going to come in from both sides here, actually could surround this. The Colossi just now has Thermal Lancers, but there's so many Roaches and Hydras. He's going to shut down the entire army here of NeOaNGeL, and it's forced to fall back once again. Now, again, you have to remember that the previous iteration of the metagame was Roach Hydra Corruptor to deal with Colossi numbers. But because NeOaNGeL just has not... I don't know. Okay, this is the most important thought of this match, this game here now. Why has NeOaNGeL not been as aggressive with producing Colossi as he's only had 2 Colossi in this entire game by the looks of things. And if he'd have had more, if he'd have engaged in better places with that kind of rising number of Colossi, he would have been in such a good place against this. I mean, of course, Stephano could have just swung into Corruptor production, but still, you need to deal with this first before you actually worry about all of that. He's going to drop the Storms. That's a nice Storm on those Hydralisks that are so immobile. Still needs more storms, though, to deal with this. And Stephano right now is still just ransacking all of the front line of NeOAnGeL right now. There's a ton of probes on hold position trying to hold off against this. But for now, he will constantly still barrel down on his opponent's natural. And the mothership ends up falling once again. Stephano right now, 100 supply up. There you go. GG, ladies and gentlemen. EG Stephano will take third place here at ESWC. And Sparta Legion's NeOAnGeL, unfortunately for him, he was not able to attain any money. However, a 4th place position is still extremely respectable. So guys, a big thank you for joining me here for the ESWC day number 2. We are now going to move on to the grand final very soon between Mouse Manor and Millennium's 4GG. So don't go anywhere, guys. Actually, again, do go somewhere, grab yourself a snack and a drink. And I will throw up on the overlay in literally 2 minutes as to when we're going to have that going. So thanks very much, guys. My name's Kyle Aris, the official caster of ESL TV, and I'll be back in just a bit.